instigating police brutality.
Also being protected by the police.
Yep. Hey,
And
that
they
dude's popping a
make,
wheelie. Hey.
yeah, they make an immediate beeline for the park, which they weren't supposed to do that.
What do you mean weren't supposed to? I mean, do you think these guys? Well, the law's on their side for the most part, especially within the city.
They form a little barricade and they put up umbrellas to try to hide from the fucking the cams. They all start getting dressed in black and they start tearing down their signs a little bit. Later, they find out that those signs are held together with PVC pipe that they sharpened so that they could stab the cops with. And then the protesters let them funnel through. And they start prodding and stabbing the cops, throwing shit over them, fireworks. And they were pretty much helpless. They just had to stand there and take it. They surrounded the whole statue.
Well, see, the other tricky part for the police is that if they do anything, the media is going to jump right down their throats, and that's only going to hurt them. But yeah, I know. Fuck. Shit, if I were one of those cops, I would just go nuts. I would just fucking go ape shit and say bye bye to my career because I just can't imagine being pushed around like that ever again. Like, what the fuck is this?
Later on in the video, they start throwing homemade explosives, and one of them loses their eye. Those PVC pipes that they're throwing, they sharpened.
They're they're just they're just going at it like Mongols did 700 years ago. Fucking taking sticks of bamboo and cutting them at an angle. Oh well. At least the Mongols had like adequate levels of testosterone.
This guy, he lost his right eye, I think.
What's his name?
I don't remember. And later, they tried tipping over Christopher Columbus's statue because I'm pretty sure he was racist.
I mean, he kind of was, but without Christopher Columbus, these people would still be like boiling buffalo soup in buffalo stomachs and banging rocks together for fun. So, well, maybe not, because I know that Native Americans are. I think they're
Spaniards
second.
actually discovered it first.
Well, Native Americans are, at least today, despite the welfare state dumbing them down, they are second to no, not no, I think third to Asians. Asians are just ahead of whites, or maybe the other way around in terms of aggregates aggregate of IQs in America. That's what I'm told. But of course, the
Interest,
communities are garbage because of daddy government taking care of them, quote unquote.
Interestingly enough, I didn't find this coming across the Google page. I found this coming across the YouTube channel. I followed, didn't even hear anything about this.
Damn.
Censorship at its finest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing fucking surprises me anymore. And it's only getting worse. I don't know if you can go to like what's the negative of surprise when something horrible happens and you're like that's so fucking boring. Is that the opposite of surprise? I can't even talk anymore. It's just uh, it's like we're in scary movie in the world of politics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
you
don't know if
catching
you wanted
there.
to make a video about this or not. But
Well, I mean, you kind of already uploaded it. I don't really have much to say. It's just the fucking Antifa. Thank God for leak video uploaders like this obviously famous channel. Despite all the nasty shit you see on Live Leak, at least they'll probably like put this on there and then
So
maybe.
these guys took a page from the Hong Kong protesters by using umbrellas so they couldn't be spotted by the cameras, and using lasers to blind cameras. But instead of blinding cameras, they're blinding cops.
Yeah, that's why they're winning because they do what works and they don't fucking care about the press or well, the press is on their side and they don't have any moral principles whatsoever and that's how they that's how they that's how they're kicking ass. As much as I hate to
Well,
admit it.
federal agents have left Seattle. That, according to city and state officials, the officers were sent there to contain violence at ongoing demonstrations following the death of George Floyd back in May. Mike Solon is here. He's the president of the Seattle Police Officers Guild. So the DHS agents have left Seattle. You have the mayor of Seattle and the governor. Welcome to you, by the way, Mike. We have the governor and kind of framing the issue as, well, we kind of pushed them out. But the truth is, according to a lot of officials, look, there was no threat to the federal buildings in Seattle anymore, so they left.
Yeah, hey, Therese, thanks for having me on. You're absolutely correct, but the threat came from far-left progressive activists pushing a neo-Marxist agenda across our entire city. And unfortunately, the unreasonable activist class now has control of the elected officials in the fringe group of the Seattle City Council that are pushing their progressive ideology for defunding the police. That's why I need your viewership to help us at this time, because Seattle's policies are paving the way across the nation. I've said this before, that they will metastasize in every major urban area. I need everybody to get involved across this nation, to go to stopdefunding.com and push back against this far left progressive ideology that has everybody hostage by its unreasonable activism. And 60 cops over this past weekend were injured.
59 police officers, you're right, Mike. And I just want to bring up the point that, you talk about the progressive policies and ideology there, but you have the mayor of Seattle, Jenny Durkin, talking about, the bringing in of federal agents. She thinks it's a dry run for martial law. Listen to her. I'll get your response on the other side.
He's clearly targeted cities run by Democratic mayors. He said so himself. He's using law enforcement as a political tool. I hate to say it, Aaron, but I really believe that we are seeing the dry run for martial law. This is a president that is using law enforcement and federal forces for political purposes, and that should be chilling to every American.
Except the feds have said, look, if there's no threat there, and the same thing in Portland, if they will get away from the courthouse and they will stop threatening to burn it down or trying to burn it down, the federal agents would leave, Mike.
Well, clearly what the dry run for Seattle was the Chaz Chop experience, where multiple people were shot and killed. And then now I ask for support from any local, state, or federal law enforcement entity to help us in Seattle, because we almost lost the ability to have less.
I'm gonna have to dig, but my roommate showed me a video of this, like a politician or someone saying that you have to wear your mask, but he had his mask, but it was on his neck, but he wasn't wearing it, and he took it off to speak into the microphone. It was some funny shit.
Dude, everybody knows it's bullshit at this point. Unless they're like literally retarded.
I think it was on Louder with Crowder, is what it was.
Like everybody knows it's bullshit at this point. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is what is the consequence of asserting this truth or going with the bullshit. Playing ball versus, I don't know, walking out of the arena or striking out or whatever you.
So if you were to intentionally misgender a trans woman, that could put her at risk of burn.
Oh no.
Ugh.
I can't imagine the health complications of being called a he. My.
He also showed me this video saying that white male privilege doesn't exist, of him doing it. Change my mind. and
Well,
this girl came up and she was like, and Crowder was like, how did he put it? So Crowder said that there are some privileges that women have that men don't have, and she was like, no.
oh, sorry, some got my
Well,
throat.
the first topic he brought up was that when a man gets charged, men have harsher punishments in courts than women do. For instance, if a woman goes and has sex with her 16-year-old student in her classroom, she only gets 2 years. If a guy does that, he goes there pretty much for the rest of his life. And
Yep.
there's plenty of cases to prove that. And he also pointed out that so women can now go into the military, right? And then he put down men don't get to choose if they go to the military or not, which is fact. I signed my draft card. I'm pretty sure he did when he turned 18 or 16 or whatever it was for the draft.
I mean, if you
If
didn't,
for some
you'd probably
reason
be in
World War
jail.
III, well, yeah, you go to jail if you don't sign it. Men don't get a choice. If for some reason World War III happens and they choose me, I get to go to war.
Okay, now I wouldn't say you don't have a choice, but I think a more accurate because like whenever we're talking about like choice, then comes like the topic of coercion and consent, which is like a lot of things that feminists and social justice warriors in general like. How do I put it? Like okay, so you know how feminists talk
So
about
if
like
you
how
were
the
to
actresses
intentionally
who like feminists always clamor on about how the fucking actresses who mostly not talented, mind you, who signed up a contract with Harvey Weinstein. And Weinstein's like, all right, babe, well, you give me some time on the casting couch with me, and I'll land you that position, and I'll take care of your whole career. Apparently, that's coercion to these people, and apparently that's not that the women did not have a choice, and therefore it's rape, apparently.
Oh, and another thing he
So
added, he was like, so women didn't get the right, or no, this is someone that someone else brought up, but women didn't get the right to vote till like pretty much 100 years ago today. And he was like, yeah, so who gave him that right? And they were like, they just froze for a minute, and he was like, the men in charge. And they didn't know
yeah,
what to do.
it's a truth that I hate to come to, but nevertheless, we need to never forget the Simps of 1919. Yeah, because in the
I
end,
feel like
in the
we can
end,
trace everything back to them.
okay, here. I'm gonna make a hot take. I actually 100% agree with the feminists on this in this regards to this issue. Feminism is literally men's fault because we let it happen. Well, not we, but our ancestors from like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Here, I'll be right
yeah,
back.
they're right. Okay. All right. Well, we're at 14 minutes. What else do you think we can cover over this?
Oh, I didn't know we were recording. Oh my god. One thing that you can keep in mind for the whole feminism thing. This is kind of on the topic of body shaming. Um, let's see here. So who do you think makes the ads for like, oh, if you take this product, you'll look like this model. You know, like, who do you think makes those? Women. Women make them.
Oh, come on, damn it! You fucking deflated my joke before I could let it fly. Oh well,
Okay.
it's dead now.
Women are saying that they put men put them into this cookie cutter thing that they have to fit through, and if they don't fit through it perfectly, that they don't look good. The actuality behind that, the people that work for these companies that do marketing, you can look into it. Most of them are women, and if they're not, they're gay men who are also women.
I honestly
In my
don't think
opinion.
that even matters. My theory is that we have creative directors doing the marketing for beauty products or whatever, and they listen to the customer feedback. They see, and then they just put their hands like in the fucking comic strip, like, okay, all right, gentlemen, how are we gonna make these returns shoot through the roof this quarter? Shoot through the roof this quarter. God damn, I can't fucking talk. And then they think, let's just put attractive people on there. So the customer thinks that they'll be like them. Okay, sold. And that's how the marketing plan goes. And this whole thing, I honestly totally disagree with this whole theory that these marketing companies are intentionally hurting people's self-esteem to make it pressure them to buy products or whatever. Humans are insecure. Period. This goes without saying. And marketers regardless of whether or not they understand it, they do what they did anyways. And you take a look at ugly people like these fucking body positivity people, whatever. Whenever I don't know if you've ever been on the fuck, what do you call it? Like the smegma infested depths of Tumblr, but I do recall seeing like some of my former leftist friends. But like they're sharing comics. A lot of SGWs like making their points across with like hand illustrated comics, some of which are there's a modicum of artistic skill in them, and every single one of them, if it's like body positivity, then there's like fat women in there. They're only like kind of chubby, and if there's like I'm sure you've seen furry art. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and the furries they draw, there's no like fat ugly furries. And that's just like a really niche thing or fetish or I don't know, like a fucking inflation fetish or something. Like I don't know. As you can tell, I've been through some dark days back my early days of puberty. Any illustration, including these SJW types with their fucking body positivity shit. If they draw men in a slightly idealized or at least decent looking form. They draw women in a slightly idealized or decent looking form. Whenever they have like, I don't know, fucking non-binary or two-spirit Cobra helicopter, it's not going to be like a fat non-binary person because that would be putting non-binary people in a bad light. Same thing with feminists talking about slut shaming. They complain about men slut shaming women, even though we all know how chastised you become if you dare say a bad thing about some single mom Sam across the street. And yet at the same time, there's pretty much endless data showing that the people who slut shame women most are other women, particularly ones that the said women aren't liked by. So I don't know what you call it, but it's just whenever it's creating a boogeyman within your own head, whereas in reality nobody else cares. And instead of admitting it's probably just your own insecurity and you just need to get the fuck over it because really nobody else cares, they pin it on everybody, literally everybody else. If not one person, then a demographic. And if not a demographic, then like society or the system. And that's their whole that's the whole left playbook. It seems like maybe it's like Jordan Peterson who said this, but a very fundamental left-wing belief is that whenever something goes wrong, it's society's fault. And the opposite being the right-wing belief is that whenever something goes wrong, it's probably your fault. And whenever it's something, and whenever if you're going with the left, and when it's all society's fault, then what do? You stomp around and you start screaming like a fucking toddler and demand the world change to your will. If you and from the right wing perspective, if things go wrong, then you need to sit down and have an honest conversation with yourself. So you can tell which one we're aligned to, but nevertheless, the the leftist mindset is something that's native to human nature. And the mindset that comes from the right is either something that comes from the rules that humans have created through, I guess, supposedly a more logical approach. So I don't know if that brings you any insight, but I just thought that was an interesting thing to point out. And yeah, it's I don't know. As cheesy as this sounds, what really makes a difference in your life is your attitude. And I know I sound like a fucking boomer saying that, but it is true. Because you can, unless you have some kind of access to God powers, reality isn't something that anyone has figured out how to bend to their own wills. So, if you want to change something in the world, which is something that both the right and the left desire, it has to start with yourself. Only then can it permeate through. Like, you can't change the world, but you can change yourself. When you change yourself, you influence your family. Your family influences your neighbors, your neighborhood influences your state or province. Your state or province influences your country, and then your country influences the world. So, yeah, I don't know who quoted that either, but it's just it's a good quote. I just wanted to share it with those who I care for or about. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck the title of this video. We're talking about all kinds of shit. I think we should cut it up in like 3 or 4 like segments that are like a few minutes in length. About let's cut it into segments that are approximately the length of our average viewer's attention span. I think that would be really great for our channel progression.
We could talk about the wage gap.
Oh well,
You know,
I mean,
I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, "Look, have you ever looked at how many fucking nurses are women and how many doctors are women?" And the way he put it was, it's by their choice that there is a wage gap.
hold on. My audio is acting fucking weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
you sound like you're deep frying Nissan Altimas.
Well, all I heard from you is like, so, well, it should be fixed now. Anyways, you were saying?
Well, the way he put it was, how many doctors and how many nurses? How many nurses do you see are women?
Well, I don't know. It seems like a very slight majority. What do you think?
Okay, how many doctors are women?
Definitely a minority. Anecdotally.
Compared to, so how many men do you see that are doctors?
Well, I see a lot of a
Let's
lot of really
let,
brown
let's
guys.
throw.
That
Okay,
are
so
doctors.
how many men do you see are chiropractors? How many men do you see or actual like dentists? You know how like when you go to the dentist's office, there's like a bunch of like I guess nurses or helpers, dental assistants that walk in and they help you, but you have to wait for the dentist to come and help you. How many orthodontists are men?
Hold on there. Hold on there. That seems a bit patriarchal. One
Women.
strong male leader with a bunch of female followers. My sexism symbols are my sexism sensors are indicating beep 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 beep. They're tingling. I sense sexism. Anyway, go on.
Well, my first actual job was at a store, And when I went there, the girl who was a little older than me, who had a little bit more experience than me, got paid like $1.50 more an hour than I did, because that was the first like shopping store job I'd ever had, and I was new, and I was only part time.
You were like fresh out of high school.
And I was in high school.
Oh.
The fact of the matter is, the wage gap doesn't exist. And, well, it does, but it's because they choose to pick the lesser paying jobs.
Okay, do you see how like the news headlines have misled you? You started out saying that no, the wage gap doesn't exist, and then you had to backtrack saying, okay, well, wait, yes, and it's not the patriarchy's fault or whatever. See, that's the kind of fucking sophistry that our news media is currently dumping on us incessantly. So you really gotta pay attention. You gotta take a few seconds to think about what you're gonna say before you say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So people can take like a soundbite out of you and say that yes, you agree that the wage gap exists. Now, imagine that you grew a few inches taller and started to color yourself orange and started talking like you're from New York, and then all of a sudden, that soundbite being taken out of what you just said, causing a huge economic disruption, economic and therefore social, therefore political, and possibly ideological disruption in the country. That's what it's like to be president. Yeah. Like, remember when, like, Kaylee, what the fuck's her name? Kaylee McEnany, or whatever? The hot chick that's fucking press secretary for Trump. Like, she said something like, we're not gonna let the science stop us from opening the schools or whatever. And I'm just thinking, do you know how, okay, yeah, I know, that sounds stupid at surface level, but
No, but
it's
she has a
just,
point behind it.
yeah, I totally get what she's saying, but obviously, and the news, literally everybody knows what she means. But of course, the fucking New York press had to take it and flip it around, and now everyone's just losing their shit. So, look, here's what pisses me off. You can see how much I like fucking stammer and go and so, and I deal with this every day whenever I talk to people. And I can't imagine how fucking pissed I would be if I were Kaylee McEnany, and I just forgot. Like, all it took was just she put some quotes around the science. If she said like, quote, "We're not going to let the quote science stop us from opening the schools up." That's all she had to do, and then the news would have very. They either had to go to something else, or they just wouldn't have anything to work with entirely in order to try and frame her for whatever, for being a hovidiot or whatever fucking stupid ass slur that the left has come up with to piss on us. All it takes is just one gesture and about 2 seconds worth of pausing. And then it would be so much harder for the leftist journals to fucking frame her for being anti-science. It's just, yeah.
Well, all Trump has to say is Antifa is a terrorist group, and now you see headlines that say, "Oh, Trump thinks that protesters are terrorists."
Hold on. The fact that Trump is even breathing, it pisses off the left. I don't know if you'd figured that out, but
There used to be
literally,
memes about it. There used to be like, Trump walks onto a stage, CNN, write that down, write that down.
yeah, no, I'm not fucking kidding. That's pretty much what it is, and it's out as obvious as day on every single news network. All the journalists are just constantly chomping at the bit, waiting for Kaylee McEnany to screw up somewhere, somehow, and when they get it, and when they capture one moment where McEnany says something wrong that most people could put together, with most people with two brain cells to rub together and put together, as small as a minority that might be. They're just chomping it a bit like fucking piranhas chasing after a piece of bacon in the ocean. Like, damn. How much are these motherfuckers paid to do it? Ugh, anyway. That fucking CNN, oh my god. Oh, okay, oh, hold on. Okay, scroll up a little bit. Latinos for Trump. Okay, I don't know how I put this together, but go to the very far right. This Trump voter is sure he will win. Here's why. No, not that. I don't know. I don't know if you want to watch this fucking poison.
It definitely has music in it that's
Okay,
copyrighted.
no,
but
look,
we can watch it.
when I first saw, well, I mean, I guess you could just mute it and we can, like, if anything crazy happens, we can look at it, talk about it. What was it? So apparently, like, there's this trend on Twitter or YouTube or something. It's called like the hashtag walk away thing. It's about former Democrats moving to the center or voting for Trump because the left has just gone so apeshit this past, what, 7 months? And I remember hearing there's like gay dudes and trannies who are going for Trump now. I just want to. I'm curious of what the LGBT has to say whenever they finally start donning the magic red hat. I'm not fucking dude. I'm not kidding you. Go look. Go search it up if you're so inclined.
What's it called?
Just okay. Go to YouTube search. Cool. Why? Where the fuck did you get that wallpaper, by the way?
The internet.
Fucking. Okay. Just go to the search bar.
Just tell me what it's called.
Well, I can't see what you're typing, dude.
Okay, just what's it called?
Oh, okay, whatever. Hashtag walk away. LGBT for Trump. Let's see what comes out of that.
Oh my god, I don't know if I can.
Was it a fucking? Is it like a gay parade with like gay dudes shaking their thongs and man asses at little kids while wearing Trump hats to make Trump look bad? Oh no, I probably just gave the left an idea. Fuck me.
Ooh.
You gotta pull that tab there, son. I can't see anything good.
Oh. You see now?
You fucking forgot the LGBT, man. It's like, come on. Don't deny your masculine presenting transgender lesbian sisterhood. Okay? Oh, Blair White. Oh, she's been on the Trump train for a while. Come on. And good old Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh well, I guess it wasn't a thing. It's just fucking Blair White and Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh well.
Trump supporters aren't just one color, one size, one anything. We're everywhere.
Can you hear this?
I find more acceptance here than in my own community. I'm gay for Trump. I'm a completely unique demographic. Not only am I gay, I'm also third generation Hispanic. My family's legal immigrants. I'm here to support my president because we do things the right way here.
Why have you stood behind him so strongly?
He's showing what the Democratic Party really represents.
Damn,
he showed me what they really represent, and that's why I walked away.
What was it that made you really realize their policies didn't agree with your values?
Learning the lies that we've been told about Republicans, learning the lies that we've been told about...
Okay. Let's do a side by side with Skrillex. Is this not fucking Skrillex, okay? Now, drag the window to like the right corner, no, the right side of your screen. Or yeah, just put this one. You know how to put windows side by side.
I'll go look for an image of just him, and I'll put it to the. How old is Skrillex?
He's well into his 30s, I'm sure.
His
Well, I see
nose
the
is a
black
bit
border.
fatter.
Yeah.
I don't know. This dude's face is longer. He's got more of a round face. He's got a fat nose and gauges. This man doesn't have gauges. He has the pods.
The douche pods.
All
Saucy
right,
Carter
I'm
calls
saving this clip for later. Let's keep watching.
About the right for so long.
I find more acceptance here than in my own community. Because in my LGBT community, as soon as they find out I lean right, they don't want to talk to me, they want to unfriend me, they don't want anything to do with me. And that's really sad. That's the definition of hypocrisy. All they ask for is tolerance, and then they don't show it when someone thinks a different way.
I don't really like the fact that they're taking even the gay community who just got our right to marry. At that point, we became 100% equal, and we finally got to be full American. But at that moment, they came out with other things like pansexual and all these other crazy things, and they're trying to separate us even more. They want to keep us as victims, and I'm not a fucking victim. I'm a victor.
There's a reason why we do things the right way. It's for the safety of everyone. We see what open borders does. We see what unchecked immigration does. My husband and I actually helped to organize AV Pride in 2016. We were met with a lot of opposition because we invited the NRA. I'm a small-framed man. I could be a target. So I believe that guns are a great equalizer, just like a small woman. We invited them, and the board was very, very adamant to say, you guys are making a mistake. Praise. We had LGBT women coming up to us going, thank you for inviting the NRA. Did you know that they're giving us free lessons on how to use guns? They even opened up to trans women. We're like, yeah, because you guys are potential victims. So we want you guys to be safe at all times. And this is one of the reasons why we have the Second Amendment. So all of these reasons are why I lean right. Trump supporters aren't just one color, one size, one anything. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. We're your neighbor, we're your brother, we're your sister, we're your groomer, we're your hairdresser. We are here to support everybody and to support our president and show that we are not ashamed to support our president.
Well, you heard that one. Dicks out for Trump.
Was he the new Oren Harambe?
Hashtag walk away. I've never even heard of that.
Wouldn't it be more like walk a day? Yeah. All right, I tried.
All right, well, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm out of words too. I'm speechless by the stunningness and bravery of these vile homosexuals allying with us. Just kidding. I don't fucking care who you have sex with or if you think you're a different gender. As long as it's not on my dollar, I don't care. Anyway, clothing thoughts.
Don't believe everything you read. And definitely don't get into the mob way of thinking. You can get into the mob way of thinking just by doing things at work. Like, someone comes up to you and says, oh yeah, this is how you do it. And then someone else says, oh yeah, that's how you do it. But then it might not be how you actually do it. Little stuff like that.
You know, even if you don't drink the Kool-Aid, if you handle it at work, you might have some fumes in the process.
Like for instance, I almost got dragged into, I won't say who, what, when, or where, but I almost got dragged into a job that tried scamming people into buying way overpriced solar panels to help them save money, but in the long run, like, they just tried to get people that were dumb enough to sign in something, and then they were stuck with these overpriced solar panels that didn't last as long as they said it would, and then you get the picture. I didn't want to be a part of that. Don't drink the retard juice.
You know, I guess we could touch on that topic real quick, since we talked about coercion earlier. So when it comes to making a commitment like that, like when it comes to careers, a lot of the I'd imagine most of the people there know it's fucking bullshit, but they have dollar signs in their eyes. So what can shape you? What can shape the the destiny of that job is as simple as one decision that you make whenever you're handed the paper, whether or not you want to sign or just get up and leave. And you're not necessarily coerced in one way or another, you're just given a choice. And people who are desperate enough, who really believe they can't find a better job elsewhere, or really believe that this is going to pay out for them, or just, I don't know, fucking flip the coin in their head. Those people might sign the paper, but in the end, they still chose to. You're given a choice. It is a free choice because, in spite of a lot of people believing that you don't have free will, you're not. I don't know. I really wonder what really is coercion anymore. Whenever you're in a bad situation, you're only choosing from bad versus worse, and sometimes you make a slip up in judgment. Sometimes the mistake turns out to be the right thing to do later down the road. Sometimes you lose in the short-term consequences, but then you gain a lot in the long-term consequences. Who knows? Like choosing to stand down and play the victim and get your ass beat, but then win a huge settlement like years down the road in court. I don't know, things like that. Those are all choices. They're tough choices. You make them probably in a very short amount of time, but nevertheless, you do have options. So, anyway, yeah, that's all I got.
Well, if you guys like our content, please leave a like and subscribe. Please give my boy AVC some love by going down to the description, click on the link, go straight over to his channel, subscribe, watch his content. He's got a lot of really great stuff over there. That's all we got. So we'll see you all in the next one.